With all clubs hit hard by players returning to college football for round 6, the season effectively began afresh at the Norwood Oval. With new youngsters coming through and the over-ages filling the gaps, this was a testing round for all coaches. But at Norwood Oval, Tim Weatherall's Roosters made the best of a difficult situation. And that was no mean feat because the Roosters are one of the hardest hit clubs in the league, with up to 13 players stripped from the side because of college football. Tim also lost 3 players up to the reserves for this match. But he didn't lose Sam De Leonardis, North's best player for the season. Sam scored 3 goals from 36 disposals. A local North Adelaide lad, Sam worked his way through the Roosters' ranks. A good on-ball player, Sam pushed forward against Norwood to good effect, and he'll be a good chance for the seniors before the season is out. The Blackfriars boys were still available for one more week, and Timmy made the most of 17-year-old Jonathan Hayes. There's not much of him, but his work rate was high. Good in close, he found a lot of the ball and even found the goals for the 3rd week in a row. Liam Jacker from Adelaide High School might consider himself unlucky to have missed out on state selection this season. The wingman played half-back flank, showing off his long left foot. The 18-year-old was impressive with 14 kicks and 9 handballs. The Wonke name was held aloft at the parade. The younger brother of Michael Wonke was another state under-18 selection, Sam Wonke, who played in defence for North. When Nick Wonke's injured knee is fit for service again, Tim Weatherall will have both of Michael's younger brothers available to him, a smorgasbord of Wonke talent. And also working hard in defence for North was Cameron Sandico at centre-half back. From Gleeson College, Cam stopped any forward thrust from the Redlegs. Norwood struggled without the likes of Nathan Sermon and Cameron Tiggerman, who both went back to Ross Trevor College, but they were well served by Blake Penny from the Tea Tree Gully Football Club. Winning an incredible 61 hit-outs, it's safe to say Blake dominated the ruck, but it was about the only part of the game that Norwood dominated. Mac Bauer did his best, an AIS Level 1 player who's even been over to New Zealand as part of his training and testing. Mac managed 16 disposals for his team, cementing his spot in the state under-18 team. Matt Hollendale, also from the Tea Tree Gully Football Club, thrived on the body contact, working well with Mac Bauer, but even his tenacity wasn't enough to save the Redlegs. It was North by 24 points. Round 6 of the SANFL was Umpires Appreciation Round, and both teams at Glenelg Oval did their best to appreciate the umpires, but it wasn't easy, with some, let's call them, interesting decisions throughout the match. The Tigers lost 11 players to college footy, but did pretty well without them, and apart from a shocking 3rd quarter, they were best on the park, but only just. For Glenelg, Tom Hutchison is enjoying life in the big city. Having relocated from the Millicent Football Club, this was his best game for the year. His work as an inside midfielder is what's got him a place in the under-18 state squad, and he's one player who looks like he really enjoys his football. Josh Woodall has also made the move from the southeast, from the Mount Gambier Football Club. Josh played in the middle of the ground, working hard at the clearances and running hard all day. As an over-aged player, Josh is always looking over his shoulder for a senior call-up. But just as happy to be playing under-18 football was Sam Overall in his first game for the year. Given the task of manning Jess Watchman for some of the game, Sam showed commitment and dedication to the job. He also demonstrates that sort of devotion every week when he commutes to training and match days from Victor Harbour. Vice-Captain Sean Keane has finished with Sacred Heart College, and so he was on hand to help the defenders. Sean was singled out by coach Adam Blakely at training to show the team what gritty determination looks like. Apparently it looks like Sean Keane. West had 8 out to college football, 3 promoted and 3 injured, but surprisingly coach Jared Mears still managed to field a strong team. They were led by Henry Vick from the Happy Valley Football Club. Playing half-back flank in the first half and inside midfield in the second, Henry found plenty of the ball. And winning the ball in the air was ruckman Nick Hyde. Nick won a whopping 53 hit-outs for the round, more than twice Glenelg's total hit-outs for the entire team. And with Sam Durden a late withdrawal for West, the door was open for Jess Watchman to move back up front. He kicked 5 goals in the second half. And enjoying the transition from basketball with 18 possessions was Tom Fitzpatrick. This was his best game for Westies this year, and but for a couple of interesting decisions, this could have been West's day. Midway through the last quarter, Sam Overall was the lucky recipient of a free kick before the ball had even gone back to the middle. It would prove the difference between the two sides, Glenelg winning the match of the round by 5 points. Down at the Norwood Oval, the Eagles flew in and toyed with the Panthers for the afternoon. In round 5 a week earlier, Tony Bamford's Panthers had looked strong, especially out of defence, but despite that encouragement, in round 6 the coach was once again left scratching his head. Things didn't go according to plan. In the first half, despite losing 8 players to the college system, it was all the Eagles, outscoring South 12 goals to 1. Best again for Shane Grimm's side was Carl Muller from Smosh Westlakes. He was up against a 204cm opponent in Peter Steff in the ruck, and he still won the contest. But Carl doesn't just jump for his side, he runs too, and he had plenty of energy, covering most parts of the ground in a dominant performance to earn his second best on-ground tag in as many weeks. Joseph Senior was left in charge of decision-making, and his work around the clearances was outstanding. The under-19 overager from the Henley Football Club led the younger ones by example and showed the coaching staff that he's ready for a call-up to the reserves. And back from the reserves was Albert Dunstan from the Adelaide Football Club. He played at centre-half forward, where he made himself a target for the midfielders all afternoon. He has pretty sure hands, taking 13 marks without dropping a single one. In his first year with the Eagles, Sam Lodge from the Ardrossan Football Club was thrown all over the ground and he thrived on it. This was Sam's best game of the year by a long way, his hunger for the ball evident to his thankful coach. South Adelaide is a team made up of more than one player, but the one player they missed this week was their best. Caleb Daniel, a state under-18 selection, was knocked out just before quarter time. A clash with one of his colleagues left him concussed and dazed, but he did manage to walk off the field. The round 4 Macca's Cup MVP was sadly missing for the rest of the match. Best for South in Caleb's absence was Jake Anderson in the midfield. Jake's worked his way up from the under-16s and he enjoyed scoring his 4th goal for the season. But although the Panthers restricted the Eagles to just 3 goals in the second half, it was too little too late. At the Norwood Oval, it was Woodville West Torrens by 73 points. Looking to drag themselves off the bottom of the ladder by recording their first win for the season, the Bulldogs entertained the Magpies at the Elizabeth Oval. The writing was on the wall early, but the Dogs fought on throughout, losing by just 5 goals, bumping their percentage up to an all-time season high of 19. The Magpies looked no further than William Northeast. William is the son of Paul Northeast, with 235 SANFL league games under his belt, including 8 premierships for Port Adelaide. William has big boots to fill and he filled them with pride. Winner of the Macca's Cup MVP nomination for the round, William has enjoyed his time with Port after his move from the Eagles last year. The Eagles snared him from the York Peninsula, but it was only a matter of time before he found his home with the Magpies. In round 6, William netted 34 disposals and 6 marks. Having played the entire year down the back, Nick Hale started the game in the midfield and was then given a run up front. He proved his versatility. From the North Haven Football Club, Nick has played every game for Port this year. He's an overaged local Port Adelaide lad with high expectations, and from this performance, we'll see a lot more of him this year. From the Rapina Football Club and the Whyalla Football League, Brad Coulson started the game at half forward and then swapped off the ball. He struggled with osteitis pubis this year, and so this was a big test for Brad. Quite simply, he passed, and with another year to go at this level, the 17-year-old looks like he has quite a future with the Magpies. Also enjoying plenty of the ball was Jayden O'Neill from the Port Districts Football Club. Playing across half-back, his 38 touches showed that he's actually comfortable outside of his comfort zone, usually playing in the middle of the ground. This was his first game out back and he didn't disappoint. The Dogs' best was Bray McConnell, back from a shot at the reserves. Having come through the Barossa District Football Club, Bray has struggled with injury over the years, but he looked fit and well in this match, taking 10 marks with 13 disposals. Also working hard for his coach was Josh Russo. In his 5th game for the Dogs this year, this was undoubtedly his best performance of the season, with 7 kicks and 8 handballs. The Dogs under-18 team is in disarray this year, with an average 144 points scored against them each round. At least the margin of 5 goals was a little more respectable, but there's work to do at the Ponderosa. Port by 32 points.